Yo, what's good, everybody? It's me, We're here back with part 9 for What If Naruto Had Anti-Chakra. If you guys have not already, please make sure to go and check out the previous parts of the series if you're new to the channel. Up here in the top right-hand corner, there'll be a playlist where you can go and watch all the previous parts. But before you do go, if you could, please, make sure to hit the like button down here underneath the video, as well as subscribe to my channel if you like what I'm doing here and want to see more videos from me. Anyway, let's just get into this part, the first part of Shippuden, actually, for What If Naruto Had Anti-Chakra. We start this part off a little bit after the ending of the last part, with Hinata carrying Sasuke and bringing him back to the Leaf Village, with meeting up with the other members who had gone on the rescue mission to save Sasuke, and also bring back Naruto. With everyone wondering where Naruto is, Hinata would be solemn and silent, as she would just remember Naruto waving as he walked off with that strange man. The group would have made it back to the village by now, and Sasuke would be back in the hospital, safe, with Jiraiya and Tsunade both watching, as Sasuke would be unconscious still for a little while. Sasuke at this point is much weaker than Naruto, and that's because Naruto himself had the whole month of training with Jiraiya, as well as mastering his anti-chakra abilities during that time before the Chunin exams. So Sasuke is a much weaker shinobi at this point in time, but that would change pretty soon. After a few days, Sasuke would eventually begin to wake up, and Sasuke would remember nothing. He just remembers his fight with Gaara and suddenly a burst of black energy, and then he was gone. Then he had felt some weird energy wrapping around it himself like tendrils, and then they were killed, slashed, as if though they were ripped apart. Sasuke would hold his head as he has a headache, with Jiraiya standing there as he would then say good morning. Sasuke would ask what's going on and where's Naruto. Sasuke would be shocked as Jiraiya would explain everything. That idiot, Sasuke would think. Why would he do that? Sasuke would be holding his hand on his chin thinking about it for a while. Why would he take my place? Sasuke would be wondering. Jiraiya would then answer the question for Sasuke, saying that you're too weak. Sasuke would look down at the hospital bed he's sitting in before grabbing and tightening his fist around the blanket covering him as he throws it off. I know that, Sasuke would say. Jiraiya would simply be watching him, as Sasuke began to walk out of the room as he tries to slam open the door. You really think you can save him by yourself? Jiraiya would ask. Did you see what happened with your fight with Gaara? You were ripped apart, Sasuke. Sasuke would stop still, as Jiraiya would then say, you haven't even unlocked your Sharingan. Compared to Itachi, you're pathetic. Sasuke would tell him to shut up, as he slams the door shut, asking what he would know about it. As Jiraiya would look solemnly towards Sasuke, seeing inside of him the younger version of Orochimaru, his friend who had abandoned the village. If Naruto hadn't intervened and tried to save you, Jiraiya would be thinking, I bet you willingly have gone to that side, stepped into the darkness, because that's the kind of person you are, Sasuke Uchiha. Sasuke would be staring Jiraiya in the eyes, and Jiraiya would have a little staring contest with Sasuke for a while, before he would eventually smile, closing them and saying, Alright, I got an idea. Sasuke would be confused for a second, asking what he means, with Kakashi then walking into the room. Kakashi would have two bags, as he has one for himself and Sasuke, as Jiraiya would then explain to Sasuke what they're going to be doing. Sasuke would be shocked, asking Jiraiya if he really thinks that's a good idea. Is it really okay for two high-level shinobi like both of you to be away from the village? What about the missions? We're having way more come in now after the sand attack, especially with all the havoc that had been reaped across the land of fire. Are you sure it's... Yes, Sasuke, it's okay, Kakashi would say. Kakashi would explain to Sasuke as he reveals his Sharingan, saying that it's necessary for me and Jiraiya to both come with you, Sasuke. Kakashi would reveal his headband as he pulls it up, showing his Sharingan, as he would explain to Sasuke that he would be training Sasuke in how to unlock and master his dojutsu, the Sharingan. If we're going to bring back Naruto and defeat Orochimaru, we're going to need someone who's equally strong to Naruto. And right now, Sasuke, we're thinking our best bet is you. Me? Sasuke would think. But, Jiraiya, you just said that I was weak. How do you think I could take down Naruto if not even... Come on, Sasuke. Just get your stuff and we're going, Jiraiya would say. Sasuke would be flabbergasted as Jiraiya would then grab his stuff as Kakashi grabs his, saying to meet them by the gate in half an hour. Sasuke would be a bit shocked as he would then begin gathering his things, as he grabs the bag Kakashi had gotten for him, as he's ready to leave the Leaf Village and begin his training. Sakura, and as well as the other Genin, would see Sasuke off, and Hinata would be there as well. Before Sasuke leaves, Hinata would then tell Sasuke something. I know why you're leaving, Sasuke, she would say. Sasuke would turn around, wondering what she was about to say. It's to save him, isn't it? Sasuke would have an image of Naruto in his mind back during the Land of Waves, as he was fighting against Haku. Sasuke looked down as he had a bit of a soft smile. The training is going to be a waste, Hinata would say. As Sasuke was just about to be angry, Hinata would then say, because I'm going to be the one to save him. A brush of wind would sweep through both of their hair as Sasuke would lock eyes with Hinata, the two of them both mutually understanding each other, as they were both trying to save Naruto. Sasuke would wave goodbye to the Leaf and his comrades, as he would then leave with Jiraiya and Kakashi, as they begin to head towards Mount Miyaboku to train for the next 3 years. We see 1 year after Sasuke, Kakashi, and Jiraiya have left the Leaf Village. The trio are all at Mount Miyaboku, as Jiraiya watches Kakashi and Sasuke sparring. By this point, Sasuke would have unlocked his Sharingan, as they didn't know it, but he had unlocked his Sharingan against Gaara, like I mentioned in the previous part. So to all three of their pleasant surprises, they were able to actually begin coaching Sasuke on how to use his Sharingan, and by this point Sasuke would already have mastered all 3 Tomoe Sharingan, so he was already at that point training with Kakashi. Sasuke would have learned the Chidori by now, as Jiraiya and Kakashi would have both agreed that in order to defeat the Yamianshin, or the Dark Rasengan that Naruto can use, Sasuke would need some kind of piercing attack that could actually pierce through the Anti-Chakra, something with enough straightforward attack power, and it was also something that only someone with a Sharingan could use to avoid tunnel vision, so it would be a perfect weapon for Sasuke, who had lightning release. Around another half a year later, Sasuke would have now completely mastered the Chidori and the Sharingan, and Sasuke is now just about as strong as he would be after the 3 years in the original Shippuden, when he had been training for Orochimaru, and had faced against Sakura and Naruto in the original timeline. Sasuke is around that point now, and he still has a year and a half left to go. This would be when the last year and a half would be used to teach Sasuke something else. Remember how Naruto had tried to make the summoning contract on the Toad summoning of Jiraiya and how it failed? So that spot is still open, since Naruto actually doesn't have Toad summoning, due to his Anti-Chakra. And so Jiraiya would have chosen Sasuke to be the next Toad Sage, as Sasuke would have signed the contract and would have begun practicing the summoning jutsu, having fully mastered it in only about a month, which was pretty impressive at the time. After mastering the summoning jutsu, Jiraiya would think it was finally time, the last phase of the training that would probably take Sasuke the longest, as Jiraiya and Kakashi would both leave Mount Miyaboku, entrusting Fukasaku, the old toad, to give Sasuke the rest of the training properly, as Jiraiya and Kakashi would then await in nearby towns, just drinking and having fun for the next year. During this last year would be the most difficult part of Sasuke's training, as he'd be focusing day and night on trying to master it. Sage-style jutsu. It would take Sasuke half a year to gain access to imperfect Sage mode, and finally another half a year to finally master perfect Sage mode, as Sasuke would then finally become a perfect Toad Sage. As one day, he would open his eyes underneath the waterfall, his hands cupped together as his Sharingan are activated, and now, pairing with his red, on each side of Sasuke's eyes a new pigment would change, as we would see Sage Mode activate with the red pigment surrounding Sasuke. As Sasuke's chakra would shoot up, since he's now completely able to use Sage Mode and access nature energy to use in his attacks. This was the most key part in Jiraiya's plan, since Jiraiya is a pretty smart guy, and Kakashi is as well. The two of them together would have deduced around that first year and a half on how Orochimaru could have been able to match with Naruto, considering that if Naruto was able to take out Tsunade with one hit using the Yamianshin, as long as he could have landed one single attack like that on Orochimaru, he should have gone down. But he didn't. So that means that Jiraiya thinks that Orochimaru must have come up with a way in order to counteract Naruto's ability. And so that's when they had begun brainstorming the idea on how they could counteract the nature release known as Anti-Chakra. Back at the Leaf Village, both Tsunade and Hinata would have actually approached Tsunade about learning medical-style ninjutsu. For Hinata, this was to perfect her technique, since Hyuga are naturally talented at using their taijutsu ability and the gentle fist. And since she can see chakra points, if she could learn medical ninjutsu to increase her precision, as well as her scale and abilities, then Hinata could get strong enough maybe to even save Naruto. Hinata would have also continued training by going on missions with her team as a shinobi, so that would also have been going for her. We have to remember as well that at the Leaf Village, the third Hokage is still alive, so Tsunade and the third Hokage would both be in the Leaf Village at the same time, meaning that the Leaf Village isn't as weak or defenseless as it would have been if the Nine Tails had gone missing originally. Behind the scenes though, Danzo would have already begun planning to retake the Nine Tails. Since he'd been trying to get Naruto and his special ability for years, he'd been trying to get him into the Root Anbu, but the third Hokage had been blocking that effort for many years now. Now that he was finally out of the reach of the Leaf, he would finally be able to attain Naruto and begin mastering his power for himself. Danzo at this point after the 3 years had sent multiple teams of Anbu to go towards the land of rice paddies to where they know that the location of the Sound Village is to try and find Naruto. But every time they had done so, no one had ever come back. The time had finally come. Now that Sasuke had mastered Sage-style Jutsu, he was now able to charge nature energy into his Chidori, meaning that, theoretically, they'd be able to counter Naruto's Anti-Chakra. Since, as I said before, the way that Anti-Chakra works is that it's designed in order to replenish nature energy and heal the worlds that the Otsutsuki clans had destroyed and ravaged using the chakra fruits and draining the land's natural energy. This is basically the opposite of the chakra tree, the divine tree, in which Naruto's ability of anti-chakra takes spiritual and physical taijutsu, ninjutsu, takes that chakra and turns it back into nature energy. So if someone uses an attack using nature energy, the anti-chakra will just act as normal chakra and it wouldn't be able to drain the other person's chakra so long as they can avoid having a direct contact of an attack, or as long as they can maintain a distance using nature energy and keeping that barrier between the two. A major disadvantage that Sage Mode has against Anti-Chakra is that while Anti-Chakra has an entire pool of energy that it can tap into, that grows the more people that die around the person who wields it, Sage energy can only be concentrated for so many minutes at a time, and its stamina and cooldown are much longer, meaning that for someone like Sasuke who doesn't use Shadow Clones as efficiently as Naruto can, he won't be able to use his hacks tactics where he can have charged clones full of nature energy, meaning he'll only have around 5 or 6 minutes to where he can actually fight against the anti-chakra abilities of Naruto using Sage Mode. But I'll digress, as the three would begin to head back to the Leaf Village now that 3 years had passed. Suddenly the gatekeepers would be shocked and smile as they begin waving saying, "You guys are back," as we see Jiraiya, Kakashi, and Sasuke walking back into the village. Sasuke's attire would be different now, as he still has a long collared blue shirt with the Uchiha crest on the back, but this time he now has a long dark blue cloak over it, similar to what Jiraiya wears, and more like the Sage Mode cloak that Naruto had, but in blue and black. Like the original, Sakura would be the first to actually run into them, as she turns around seeing Sasuke, as she sees Sasuke climbing onto the roof, now looking over the Leaf Village as he stretches himself out. "So, it's been 3 years, huh? I wonder what you're doing now, Naruto." "Hey, Sasuke!" Sakura would say as Sasuke would look down saying, "Hey Sakura," as he would climb down, jumping off the building and landing to the street below. Jiraiya would whisper to Kakashi, the two would laugh and giggle, saying that they're going to go report to Lord Third, as they would then use the transformation jutsu behind a building, as they begin to walk out as Sasuke and Sakura, and the two begin to make kissy faces from behind Sakura's back, as Sasuke would then get angry, telling the two of them to buzz off. Sakura would turn around as we see Jiraiya and Kakashi whistling as they're walking away, wondering what that was all about. Sasuke would sigh, saying they're always doing stupid things like that. "But it's good to see you, Sakura." Sakura would blush as he says that Sasuke looks so much taller now. Sasuke would nod, saying, "Yeah," and he would then tell Sakura everything that had happened during the 3 years and how his training had been really hard. But look, he would have to activate his Sharingan as he shows Sakura. "See, look, I can use my dojutsu now. Pretty neat, huh?" Sasuke in his mind would be thinking that he still can't access the power that Itachi has, but that's fine for now. As long as he's strong enough, he'll focus on what he can do. Suddenly, a hand would appear on Sakura's shoulder, as we would see Hinata around the corner as she then tells Sakura, "If we're late again today, Lady Tsunade is going to be—" "Oh, you're back." Sasuke would nod, saying that his training went well, asking how hers had gone, asking if she really thinks that she can defeat Naruto at this point, if she had to. Defeat Naruto? Hinata hadn't really thought about that, as she had thought that she'd be fighting other people to rescue Naruto. She hadn't thought that maybe Naruto wouldn't want to leave. "No, I'll make him if I have to," Hinata would be thinking. Because that smile, she could remember the smile that Naruto had as he had turned around and waved to her before walking away. That smile wasn't someone who was having fun. It was the smile of someone who was hurt very badly inside. Hinata would harden her stare at Sasuke, saying maybe she will be the one to save Naruto. He doesn't know. Sasuke would laugh, saying, alright, if you say so, as Sasuke would be a much lighter person now than he had been before. Jiraiya and Kakashi together had raised Sasuke's spirits and had changed him as a person now. Sasuke was a much brighter and more optimistic person than he had been, while still easily quick to anger and also calculating at times. Sasuke, Hinata, and Sakura then head towards the Hokage's office, deciding to report to Lord Third, as well as to tell Tsunade that where they were being, since Hinata and Sakura had a training session. As Hinata, Sakura, and Sasuke would all arrive inside the room, they would see Kakashi, Jiraiya, Tsunade, and the third Hokage all talking and bustling about, as they would then be silent as the three enter. We were just talking about you, Lord Third would say, as the third Hokage had been arguing with Tsunade and Jiraiya on who would be taking his place, saying that he was going to retire from Hokage as soon as possible, saying that it was his time to leave, as they would all have been arguing, saying that he could go for another few years. With Jiraiya and Tsunade coughing as they would say it's good to see them, Tsunade would see Sasuke as she analyzes him, thinking that he does look much stronger than when she had previously last seen him. Tsunade would turn to Jiraiya asking, Did he master the... Jiraiya would nod, as having confirmed with Tsunade that Sasuke had indeed mastered Sage Mode. Tsunade would then nod, saying that's good, saying that hers was still in the works, as Hinata would look away. The third Hokage would cough and speak up, saying that he actually had a plan for them today, as he would announce that Kakashi would be hosting a new bell test, with Hinata, Sakura, and Sasuke as the new temporary Team 7 to verse against him and try and capture the bells. Me? Alright, if you say so, Kakashi would say. Kakashi had been doing some training by himself as well when he had been with them for 3 years, and that would have been when he had figured out about the Mangekyo Sharingan, which Sasuke could have given him info about when he had found that he could use it. Anyhow, the three young shinobi would then head towards the forest, as Kakashi would then head into it, saying that the third Hokage would count them down, as he would do so. 3, 2, 1, fight! Sasuke, Sakura, and Hinata would immediately split up, as the three would decide they'd have to use teamwork. Hinata would immediately use her Byakugan as she began scanning the forest, finding Kakashi's chakra, signaling to Sasuke the direction, as the two would then head towards it. Sakura would play Vanguard as the two head forward, with Hinata and Sasuke being the front runners in the front lines. There he is. Sasuke, using his Sharingan, could see, even in the dark, as he sees under the shadows of the trees, Kakashi's faded green jacket from his Jonin jacket. As Sasuke would then begin to form the Jutsu hand seals. Fire style. Phoenix Flower Flame Jutsu. As Sasuke would then breathe out the jutsu, suddenly a roar of different petals of flame would come shooting out from Sasuke's chakra pool as it begins flying towards Kakashi at massive speeds. Hinata would then prepare her second attack as Kakashi would dodge the flames, but now that it was illuminated, it was an open shot. Degeneration style. Gentle step twin lion fists. Hinata, using her medical ninjutsu, would have perfected the gentle fist style, and using the twin lion fists, it would appear as though her hands had grown two heads of snarling chakra beasts, as she would lunge forward, prepared to attack Kakashi. Degeneration style is a style that Hinata had actually created herself, combining both Gentle Fist's ability to cancel chakra points and medical ninjutsu to reactivate and open them. By using them at the same time, Hinata can achieve the ability to do massive damage using medical ninjutsu, along with the added side effect of delaying their chakra points, meaning they're unable to actually use any jutsu. It was a pretty deadly combo, as she would actually land one of her twin lion fists on Kakashi's shoulder, sending him flying as it dislocates his entire shoulder, and he feels his bones having been shattered, almost disintegrated underneath. Oh, that hurts, Kakashi be thinking. I'll have to take this more seriously, as he begins cracking his neck as he uses his other hand to use one-handed style jutsu. Kakashi would then reveal as he uses his hand to pull up his Sharingan, as he then uses Mangekyo Sharingan using Kamui, as Sasuke sends another barrage, but this time a fireball jutsu. Sasuke hasn't really used any of his main jutsu or techniques yet, and Kakashi knows about them, so he doesn't want to risk it, as the two would then continue with the bell test. Sakura would slowly be sneaking around, as the plan they'd come up with before the bell test was about to begin. If you guys want to see the next part of What If Naruto had Anti-Chakra, make sure to hit the like button, comment below what you thought, and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this from me. I know this time was not focused on Naruto, but that's kind of important because this part is establishing how Sasuke is going to catch up to Naruto, as well as the training that happened during those 3 years, along with what is going on with Hinata and Sakura. In this storyline, as you guys can see, I'm making Hinata a lot more of an important character for several reasons, and Sakura will also be very important later on as well. In part 10, we'll be getting into the rescue of the Kazekage, as well as what's going to happen when they finally find Naruto after the 3 years. So if you guys are looking forward to that, then please make sure to subscribe to my channel, as I've said already. And yeah, hit the notification so you never miss the videos. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.